Hello， 大家好。现在啊，我和我的旅伴，木兰、茉莉，我们就在土耳其的伊斯坦布尔。今天呢，我就和他有一个谈话啊，然后呢，大家听一听。主要内容呢，就是让我称他木兰、茉莉，让他来讲一讲啊，他对土耳其的印象。因为他来过土耳其，这是第5次了，我是第1次跟着他来。让他讲讲他对这里的感受和这个有关的城市吧。我们一会儿讲的是呢，这样我要跟他用英语对话，然后我在编辑的时候呢加上中文字幕啊，中间我可能会插播说国语，所以我们这样好吗？大家我随便听我们聊聊天。我们到土耳其这次旅行呢，我是2周，今天是我的最后一天啊，已经过去了2周了。现在回到伊斯坦布尔，我们去了3个城市。第一站就是伊斯坦布尔，从加拿大渥太华到伊斯坦布尔，然后呢到第2个城市科尼亚。这个伊斯坦布尔在网上介绍很多，我们这里不讲啊，就重点讲一讲。第2个是科尼亚，是跟着他来的，我都不知道这城市是怎么样来的之前。然后第3个城市呢叫安塔利亚。是个海滨城市，非常漂亮。同时呢，还让木兰，茉莉啊，叫她木兰吧，简单点。她是经常一个人旅行，而且是一去就是4、5周啊。所以她一个人旅行，特别是作为一个女性，是什么样的感受？有什么注意的？第2部分呢，我就会问她一些这样的问题，好不好？我们大概就这样开始啊。Okay, Mulan. So this is my first time to Turkey, Istanbul, and you are here 5 times. So my question for you is, why I see that when you landed in Turkey, you are excited, very passionate about this country everywhere. So tell us why you are so passionate about Turkey.
Well, first of all, ni hao, merhaba from Istanbul, Istiklal Street. My name is Molly Mulan. I was given that name by my beautiful friend Xiaodong here. Why am I passionate about this country? Actually, it was never on part of my list of travels, but I lost my father 10 years ago, and I think, my father was 65. He had this passion to travel, and he never got to do that. And I think, that opened a little bit of that dimension to me where I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to not only travel the world, but also travel for him as well. So the journey really takes me to Turkey. Why Turkey? Because some of my ancestors come from this part of the world. So I think his passing really opened that dimension for me to understand my culture, my heritage, some of my background and history. So why 5 times? It's a journey. When we talk about journey, we take a physical journey, but I also take an internal journey with this journey. So when I came here, I felt that I was coming home to myself. And coming home to myself, yes.
感到回家的感觉。
And
is it the first time you feel home?
Yeah, this was the first time I felt that, as soon as I landed, something familiar was happening with me, internally. Words cannot explain that. And my first visit was around about 3 weeks, and I felt that it was not enough. I had that yearning that I need to keep coming back. The other reason I came to Turkey, I am also not a follower, but I've been reading about a 12th century poet in the North America. He's known as Rumi, but
Rumi.
Here, and in this part of the world, he's known as Mevlana, Hazrat Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. He was a Persian poet, a mystic, and also a philosopher of his time. And majority of his teachings and philosophy really laid the foundation of this country as well, amongst many other philosophers. So that's another thing that really drew to this country was the intersection of cultures, the poetry, the mystical aspect of cultural cross connections. Even though I look Indian, I'm part Indian, Hindustani they call, but also I have a diversity within my own self. So yeah, so that really brought me back to Istanbul, to Konya, and many other places. So every time I've come, I explore many cities, not one, just to see where, uh, how this country is, how people are. Um, I consider myself not a traveler who goes to, tourist site. I have done that too, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm really searching something deep within myself, within who I am, where I come from, and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so Mulan mentioned Konya. That's the second city we came. So I didn't know what it's about. So I think Mulan for me is like she's a turkey. She has been here many years, many times. So Mulan, tell us specifically this time why you choose Konya, about this city and the relatedness to yourself. 这个 Konya 中文
Can you take
we're
we're
in video. Sorry, can't help
interview,
you.
sorry.
That's okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, I've been here. This is my 5th time with Xiaodong, and I've come solo all by myself other 4 times, even during pandemic. So my passion really runs deeply here for this country. But it's the warmth of people that I felt. And Konya, why Konya? Because the philosopher that I'm talking about, the poet that I'm talking about, Rumi, his birthday also kind of sort of is on the same day my birthday.
September 30th.
September 30th.
By the way, this time to Turkey, 9月底到10月份，天气非常好。我们这几天的气温完全就是在20度到23度，特别舒服。所以呢，他说他来，他9月30号过生日，所以我们在那个 Konya 这个城市，给他庆生。但是最重要，他刚才提到是他的生日正好跟他追宠的这个Rumi 的生日是同一天。Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so this time of the year, around his birthday, there's a big celebration that goes on. A lot of events take place, a lot of like mystic musical festivals take place. Whirling dervishes are, put together. The programs are put together, and there's a ceremony called Semma. Semma is whirling dervishes. These are you cannot call them as priests, but they're almost like servants of God. But what they do is they do a whirling. Some people call it a dance, but it's not a dance. It's the invocation and surrender to the higher force, basically. That's what makes me very special. It's the connection with the higher force. Oftentimes, again, I was a cynical before and a very type A, very analytical mind. But but we don't realize that there is a higher, powerful force that is around us, within us, that we don't connect. And I think what really drew me every year to this particular ceremony is that, I felt there's something more beyond life it's a very moving ceremony for me personally. I never thought that I'm coming from Canada and sitting in Canada and being able to connect with a very world-renowned philosopher. His teachings are still very much alive in this day and age and universal in nature. So yeah, that's what drives me to Konya. And Konya gives you the whirling dervishes. The whole idea.
How to say? What's the word in English? They call the
whirling dervishes.
我们好像中文翻译成旋转舞。你看到的图片、视频，就那个土耳其人，主要是男的，穿那个大裙子，我们看的是白色的，转几百圈也不带晕的啊。但是他说这可不是舞蹈啊。Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no. When you see the whirling, their one hand is like this, and one hand is down like this when they're going like this. This hand is connecting to the higher forces, the universal force. this hand is very much present in this world where we exist. So that connection happens, and I think, that's what we miss in this day and age, that we're still here, but we're still very much connected to the higher realms. So that concept really drew me in.
Lincolnia 这个城市啊，它是一个在土耳其就是西中部的一个城市，不大。这个地方我估计一般人可能不会去旅游，我看到很少的华人。它主要是一个宗教比较传统的一个城市，可以看到街上的人们，那个妇女都穿的长袍，戴这个叫什么这个头巾的比较多啊，然后没有什么其他的活动，因为现在这个季节是一个专门的，就是他们庆祝它一个什么节日啊。
I want to tell everybody it's a very spiritual place, I mean historically. Konya, exactly.
Konya 是一个精神性的一个地方。
Yes.
他想强调这个。
Yeah, so it has a significance historically for many generations. So I think that's what drives a lot of people in that part of the world. But not everybody gets access to that city, because everybody comes here. Istanbul is the main attraction and many other main attractions, and they go. One other thing I also mentioned to Zhao is that I'm not a traveler. I feel like I'm coming home to myself, right? So and this is the great way, when we go to small cities like that, we get to see what real life is, of a country. How's the culture? How are people, right? And I felt that, a lot of people are very warm here, very open arm. They open their arms, very easy to talk. And I Zhao will tell.
Let's now just go to the people. I know Mulan for 1 year or something. I know she's a very nice person. But I didn't realize until this trip, she is so talkative. She talked to everybody landed.
I'm in my element.
Yeah, she is. She talked to the taxi driver. What I don't like is because they speak Turkish. She uses cell phone, use a translator. They keep looking at the cell phone when driving. And she talked to people in the bus, transportation, restaurant, anywhere. So she's very connected to people. So tell us your feeling about talking to people, because when she talked, another person very easy open their heart, share everything about their life, everything. Yesterday I was with a group. We come from all different parts of the world, but usually very few people like Mulan like to first approach people. Hey, where are you from? This and that. And she share about herself, my birthday, everything. Very, very open. So tell us what make you this way to talk to people.
Well, in my previous profession was very people-oriented, always dealing with people. So I think that people personality was always there. But then, you also have different professions where you don't deal with a lot of people anymore. And so you keep it quiet. What's the point when you're traveling and not connecting with people, right? So for me, it's very important because I find in Canada, people keep to themselves. They don't talk much. They don't open up as much. But when you come traveling is all about experiencing, experiencing the journey itself, right? And it's an adventure, right? Personally, I felt that every time I go, I want to know people's lived experiences, what their stories, because their stories add to my story as well, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what drives me, Xiaodong.
Yeah, I remember we were in the subway metro, standing, hold the handle, and there's people sit there and young, and she asked, "Where are you come from?" Afghanistan, right?
No, they were from Iraq.
Sorry, Iraq.
Iraq, yes.
Yes, 他们是从伊拉克来的，然后呢，我们就聊起来，然后我问他们那个土耳其的喜欢吃食品，我说我喜欢这儿吃的东西，他说 No, not as good as our country。他说他们最后的时候是到我们了，到我们这个国家来，所以就挺逗的，And another time when we had the tea, so it's small table, a nice two gentlemen beside us. They're waiting to make a menu and make order. And she started talking. They come from Australia.
So one was
Talk 1
originally
hour.
from Malaysia, and the other one is half Canadian, half US.
Chinese.
And but they're living in Australia right now. Yeah, it was a very natural. I think, you know what, when you open your heart to people, it's a given fact that, you know, you give that energy to that. I think people open up to you.
Yeah,
very
and then
naturally.
by the end change
We exchange numbers,
contact, what's up, and then later I'll send share.
share.
And you know this person. So she
just-
did that all the time.
I think, you know, Xiaodong, you probably understand. I mean, you probably witnessed this. It just adds a little bit of smile to somebody, or it adds some value to that experience. We're all journeying outside, but we're also journeying internally, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I think, you know, it's important that when we travel, why not connect with the people? Why not give them the smile and take their smiles to our hearts?
Yeah, this is something this time I learned from Mulan. Usually, you know, most of us, right? You travel, you have a plan, you have a list. You just go for the sightseeing. You meet people, ask where to go, that kind of thing, a little bit small talk, but you never really intentionally, this girl is intentionally connect with people. That is something I learned. And she said, that's the part of the journey. First time I heard people share this point. So it's interesting. Yesterday when I was with a tour, she was not with me because she has been there. Okay, let me say Mandarin. 我昨天去了 Ontario， 跟着一个 day trip 去了一个地方，然后车上有很多人都是旅行来的嘛。要平常的话，我就是看看景点，跟大家哈哈哈，然后就完了。我们也有个 lunch， 不会有什么多的谈话。但是因为是他的这个 point， 我心想我也练习一次。所以呢，在那车上，我们在开始回旅馆的时候，一个一个送到旅馆的时候，我就在车上说 ：“Hey everybody， 我说我叫什么名字？我来自 Canada。我说 Nice to meet you。我说你们能不能介绍一下你们自己？结果每个人车上都开始我叫什么名字，我来自哪个国家。结果发现有同样来自加拿大多伦多的，还有来自黎巴嫩的，Australian Perth， 还有什么那个中美洲，好像一个哪个国家。”还有希腊，好多国家，然后大家很容易就说起话来了。这是我第一次故意的这么说，要平常我还没这兴趣，也不会这么做。但是仍然，我觉得大多数人像车上的旅行者，没有人这么去跟人说话，来回问这问那的。这就是他是非常 unique。
I'm so proud of her that it just adds value to your lived experiences, and
you did that very naturally, but definitely most of people didn't behave that way.
Of course, and I think
I feel like you only care about your business. It's other people I don't know them. I smile, I say how are you, that's it. No more.
See, and travels also, help us understand the interconnection of human values, right? We're all humans, different, attires, different experiences, different way of looking, but we all share that humanness. And I think talking to people really open that dimension,
and they are very happy. Every time
very happy, exactly.
You talk to them, they know, you come from Canada, you share about yourself, and you ask questions, they are eager to share everything about their family, local life, everything, including political points.
Yeah, you know what?
Everything.
The one thing I will tell you, Xiaodong, is just it's so happening that it acknowledges that they also exist in this space with us, right? Just because we're tourists and they're local people, they also feel welcomed. They have welcomed us. And when we talk to them, they feel very good. That wow, that we're acknowledging them. We're taking time to talk to them, right?
That's good.
So that's very important.
Yeah. Okay. Now talk about travel, solo travel. 一个人旅行. She has been doing many times. So I would like to know, since when you started the solo travel?
Yeah, so solo traveling is not new to me because with work I have done a lot of my own traveling through work, but it's very work, oriented. As I said, my solo traveling really started about 6 years ago.
So what's your experience? Do you have a concerns? Are you
Of course.
nervous?
I'm a woman.
You have to manage everything,
of
right?
course. That was something that at the first time when we're going to travel for work, it's a different thing. Everything is covered for you. People will greet you. People will take care of you, right? Everything is set up for you. But when you're solo, you don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty, unknowns. Yeah, I remember when my first solo started. Really, my personal solo traveling started with Turkey actually in 2019, and here I was in Canada trying to book flights, trying to make sure that I have right safe environment. Where I am, booking my hotels in the right neighborhood. But first thing I would say is that, get your feelings involved into traveling when you're planning, in the planning stage. Because what happens is you shift the energy and it becomes very intuitive process, of planning.
Yeah, the good thing for solo travel is that you're free to make decisions to anywhere. You don't have to communicate with
you have
another
your flexibility.
traveler or
Exactly.
groups. Right?
You have flexibility.
Very
you also
free.
have that space where you're listening to your heart and you're following the heart. That's the whole point
your
of solo
only
travel.
heart.
Exactly.
One heart.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, as I said, safety, your personal safety comes very much first. I want you to know that.
Did you have a bad experience?
Yeah, no bad experience so far. However, sometimes I felt that I was not in the right space or place, and I knew it. And you suddenly you don't stay there, you just move.
You said you told me one time someone followed you.
Yes, yeah. So
guy
that's another thing,
you.
with solo travelers, especially women, right? And
women.
I want other women to know that it's okay to solo travel. However, don't put yourself in the risk. I was being followed at some point in one of the cities. I'm not going to name it. It's still a beautiful place, beautiful country. But you never know with people, right? What experiences they're coming from and what traumas they have, and they behave accordingly. Anyways, I was being followed and I realized that this was not the right behavior. And this is another thing what solo travels do. They raise your awareness, right? They heighten your awareness, which when we are in our own country, little bubbles, we don't do that, right? But when we're out of our comfort zone, we start understanding the essence and the importance of awareness. So for me, it was very important that, as soon as I felt, I was also feeling. So not only just watching it, his behavior, but I was also feeling this is not the right behavior and feeling that I'm getting with his interaction.
How did you handle it when you were followed?
Yeah, so once I've been followed, he came and he started asking some unusual questions. That was my trigger point. I said, no, this is not right. I said, please leave me alone. I like to be left alone. But he insisted talking. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to engage in this conversation anymore. And if you do, I will report to the authorities. And there was a lot of police presence here, which is because of that safety. And, for the locals and for the tourists, they're very good with that. And in my case.
And you left or he left?
No, I left.
You left.
I left.
Okay.
And I left it giving him a very stern,
clear
message. Exactly. Mm-hmm. This is another thing I have noticed in my travels. When you are assertive, when you are serious and intended, nobody can take an advantage of you. Mm-hmm. I think that's what.
It's all your attitude.
The message confidence,
you
exactly.
Yes, that's good.
And you know what I always say, when you come to a different country, you follow their rules, you respect their laws, respect their culture, and that is a reciprocation that happens. It reciprocates. They will also love you, they also honor you, welcome you. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful conversation. Today is our last day for me, my last day in Turkey, Istanbul. We're going to go cruise.
It's called Bosphorus.
Yeah, 对
Yeah,
坐船去看那个跨洲大桥，最后一天很放松。再说说我自己和他旅行的这个感受哈，他非常好的，一直照顾我，他也年轻啊，他也很熟悉，然后呢，对，就是热爱土耳其。我自己的感受，我非常喜欢这次旅行，但我发现呢，他和一般的旅行者不一样，和我的这个同伴呢，和我们或者说华人啊都不太一样。他不是很有计划性，因为他也来过多次。他刚才讲了嘛，他对旅行是想来体验，他并不是完全来看景，所以他的那个计划很松。今天干什么？明天累了我就多歇一会儿。所以在旅馆很多时间，我感觉呢就是不是很紧凑啊，但是我非常享受这次在土耳其的旅行。这美丽的国家城市，特别是它的食物，美食特别好吃。我准备呢，我回去结束旅行之后，回到加拿大，我会做一个自己单独做一个，就是哪个地方怎么样，我看到的也不是攻略，就是我的体验，我个人的体验。今天主要是他说。我个人的体验还有哪些都是什么价钱？比如出租车呀、机场大巴呀，门票什么吃饭呢？有观众问，哎，土耳其旅行的造价怎么样？现在价格都涨了，不过对我来说第一次涨不涨都无所谓，所以我会再另做一集来分享我对土耳其这3个城市的体验，特别是除了伊斯坦布尔，还有第3个城市，海滨城市，我下到地中海里面，我们俩游泳了一下，真那个体验非常美好。好了，今天我们就到这儿，我们马上就要去坐船旅行，再见。Thank you.
Thank you, and safe travels. And I encourage everybody to do solo travels. Do your homework, do some research, but also open your heart and travel.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay. 好。